Hey, Greg here from DeerTrackingCameras.com. It's a rainy day in Kentucky, but I'm still excited because I just got my new Bushnell Trophy Cam. I'm getting ready to put it in the woods to give it a test, but I thought I'd tell you a little bit about it first. Alright, the Bushnell Trophy Camera. The little camera for big bucks. This is a 5 megapixel digital game camera, and it uses a passive infrared motion sensor to detect activity. It has a series of 24 infrared emitters that allows it to take pictures and videos in complete darkness. Now the literature says this has 24 infrared emitters, but if you look at the picture of the unit that I received, I count 26. The one thing that really attracted me to this unit was the claims of a 1-year battery life. I own a lot of digital game cameras and I go through batteries like crazy. Now one caveat about this battery life. While it is a very low power consumption unit, if you use standard alkaline batteries, you only get 6 months worth of standby operation. To get 12 months, you got to be using the lithium batteries. Now let's take a quick tour of this unit. If you look on the outside here, you can see the infrared emitters or the IR flash. You can also see the lens and the passive infrared sensor. And there's a lock hole, which I'll talk about more in a minute. On the back of the unit, you've got slots for mounting the strap, and you can also see the latches. On the bottom of the unit, you've got a 6-volt external power supply connector and also a screw mount. If you open the camera up on the bottom of the unit, again you can see the 6-volt power connector. You can also see the SD RAM slot, the TV out connector, and the USB connector. So what's in the box? When you open the box, you get the Bushnell Trophy Cam. You also get a well-written manual, a strap and a buckle, a USB cable, and a TV cable. Now I want to say one thing about this buckle. I wish it was a little bit more durable. I actually broke mine when I went to hang the camera, so don't cinch it too tight to the tree. The main switch has 3 positions: off, setup, and on. When in setup mode, you can go through and configure the camera settings, and when it's in on mode, it's armed and ready for activation. The LCD display on the Trophy Cam shows you all of the camera's current settings, the picture status, as well as the battery strength. Now programming this unit was easy. Once it was in setup mode, you press the menu button. You can use your up and down arrows to scroll through the different features, and the left and right buttons to select your different options for each feature. Once you've selected an option you want, you just press the OK button and use your up and down arrows to go to the next features. Here's a look at the different features you can set on the Bushnell Trophy Cam. In camera mode, you have an option of allowing it to take images or videos. The image size can be 3 megapixel or 5 megapixel. Your video size can be 640 by 480 or 320 by 240. The length of the videos by default is 10 seconds, but you can set that anywhere from 1 second up to a minute. The number of photos, you can have it capture 1, 2, or 3 photos in succession. By default, this camera is set to a 1-minute interval, but you can also configure this anywhere between 0 seconds and 60 minutes. What this is the amount of time that the camera will wait between each activation of the passive infrared sensor before it takes another picture or video. There's also 3 sense levels on this camera: low, normal, and high. You have the option of turning the timestamp feature on or off. There's also a timer switch. By default it's off. If you turn it on, you can specify the times that this camera will be on and functional. Outside of that time window, the camera is turned off. Now this camera supports up to a 2 gig SD RAM card. You want to make sure that you turn this camera off before inserting or removing your memory cards, just to keep from damaging the camera. Now let's look at the other features of this camera. The trigger time they claim is less than 1 second. In my testing, I found this to be right at about 1 second, which is more than adequate. The passive infrared sensor range reaches out to about 45 feet, and the infrared flash range reaches out to 45 feet as well. This camera is rated to operate anywhere between -5 degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, and you get color pictures and videos by day, but when it's in infrared mode you get black and white pictures and videos. Now, some of the things we like about this camera is the ultra compact design. This thing's about the size of an index card, just over 3 inches by 5 inches. I also really like the battery life and the trigger speed, but the overall performance of this camera I'm definitely pleased with. Some of the things I don't like about this camera is the lock hole and the lack of additional security functions. I also don't like the weak buckle, and the video was slightly grainy, but not grainy enough to where I'd complain about it. A note about this lock hole. The lock hole was very small, and as you can see from this image, it's made of plastic. That requires that you use a very small gauge lock if you're going to secure the camera. The only good way to secure this camera is to use a security box, and the guys over at Cam Lockbox are making some great security boxes for all makes and models of digital cameras. Overall, I give this camera 2 thumbs up. Like I said before, I own a lot of digital game cameras, and I've sent a lot of digital game cameras back. I'm going to be keeping this one. Come visit deertrackingcameras.com for more game camera reviews, pictures, videos, and game camera talk. I used a blind corner trigger test to test the speed of the Trophy Cam's trigger. As you can see from the rate of the speed that I'm traveling, I'm approximately 1 second into the frame before the camera activated. I'll end this video with some sample infrared and daytime videos from the Bushnell Trophy Cam. If you found this video helpful or interesting, please leave a comment. Or if you're watching this video on YouTube, please click the subscribe button to the right of this video to be notified about future videos.
We express the same things but with different words. We acknowledge the same curve and those might have hurts. It's like the last line you draw to remind a past time. A fast minded feeling of freedom, please to be recognized. And I can hear your doctors calling from here to say, kill bias, independency, and I'll kill the seal. Cause the young himself is stealthy mass appeal.
Where's my news? Where's my news? If it's like every word slipping through my mouth.